What's up, guys? It's Tony from Streetball Strategies, where we use strategy to build your streetball legacy. Today we're talking about visualization and how you can visualize yourself playing at your best. First of all, the reason I'm making this video right now is because it's March 2020, and here in the United States we are just beginning to experience the coronavirus pandemic. And so over the next couple of months, most of us are going to be stuck inside. And for those of us here in places like Michigan, our winter is just ending, our spring is just beginning, and so it's still too cold to really get out on the court. And once it does start to warm up, it's going to be wet and rainy anyway. So for the next couple of months, we would be stuck off of the court anyway. But because we have the coronavirus pandemic taking place right now, with being stuck inside, I wanted to make a video that addresses kind of a little bit of a possible worst case scenario, which is, let's say you do get sick and so you're stuck in bed for 10 days. And in that 10 days, you're going to be resting and relaxing and sleeping as you should be doing, but there's obviously going to be times when you're awake and you're going to need to occupy yourself. And of course you could watch TV or watch movies or watch YouTube, and I completely support all of that. But also I want to build in this idea of visualization that you can do and use while you're resting and recovering. So by visualization, I mean you picturing yourself in your mind playing basketball as successfully and efficiently as you possibly can. Because there's a difference between just generally thinking about basketball and being in a basketball kind of mindset and actually visualizing yourself playing the kind of basketball you want to play. Think about it in the way that an architect has blueprints for what he or she's going to build. The architect doesn't just say to themselves that they're going to start building something and that they don't need blueprints because they have it all up here and they're just going to start building without planning. The architect has blueprints so that they can streamline the building process by having a visual representation, a visual plan of what they're trying to achieve. And so that's the same thing we're trying to do with visualization. We're trying to visualize the goals that we're trying to achieve out here on the court. If you're trying to improve or perfect a certain skill and you merely think to yourself, okay, I'm going to go out to the court today and I want to tighten up my crossover. I want to make it more effective. I want to make it more efficient. I want it to be quicker, and I want to be able to sell it better to my opponents. When you have that thought and then you come out here and you start working on it, it's kind of like working on a blank canvas without having an idea of what you're trying to paint until you actually start putting pen to paper. But if you visualize yourself doing the crossover the way you want to do it, if you visualize the speed of it, the efficiency of it, how the ball leaves your hand, how the ball hits the ground, how you catch it on its rebound, if you visualize the process that you're going to go through in order to make that crossover more efficient, now you're building that visual blueprint in your mind of how you want it to go. You're not just thinking of a vague idea in your mind of how you want things to be. You're actually building a visual representation in your mind of how things are going to go and what your goal actually is, so that you can draw on it once you're out here. Just like any other skill, visualizing is very dependent upon repetition. Visualizing something once is good, but visualizing something over and over again, that's where you really build in that thought and that idea and vision into your mind. That's where you really lay down the foundation of what you're trying to accomplish. So it's something that you're going to want to do multiple times throughout the day, every day, over and over again. So at first, maybe you start out just a few seconds every now and then visualizing what you're trying to accomplish. And then over time you build up to a couple minutes, and then maybe over time you could take it to an extreme where you set aside a whole chunk of time for some kind of meditation where you spend that time visualizing what you're really trying to get done on the court. But the key is to repeat doing that over and over again to sort of build it into part of your psyche. And you can be as general or specific as you choose when it comes to what you're visualizing. You can be as specific as to, this is how I want my feet to move, this is how I want my toes to point, this is how I want to move my hands, this is how I want to move my fingers, this is the position I want my body to be in. You can be very specific, or you can get as general as your general idea of success and winning, and visualizing what that means to you and how it looks in your mind. What does being successful mean? What does winning mean? You can visualize that in that kind of general sense. And I would suggest doing both. So maybe you start out visualizing specific things and then working your way towards more general things, and then going back from general to specific, and sort of having a progression there going back and forth. I would also suggest using the time when you first wake up in the morning and as you're falling asleep at night as key times that you would want to practice your visualization as well. Because the theory is that when you first wake up and as you're falling asleep, your brain is in kind of a neutral mind state, where you're not thinking about anything to do with your regular life. You're not distracted by anything. You're not stressed out by anything. You're just sort of in a very blank, neutral, calm mind state where you can put all your brain power towards visualizing what you want to accomplish. So give visualizing a try. What do you have to lose? Especially if you guys are stuck inside, if you're stuck in bed, if you don't have anything better to do, set aside some time every day to practice picturing what you want to accomplish out here. Visualization might seem kind of weird and difficult because you've never really spent the time and the effort to try to build those mental images in your mind, but as you repeat it over time, you'll find that it becomes easier to do, and those images become more clear and more vivid. And the reason is because you're becoming more efficient and better at visualizing those things. And then as you build up that efficiency, you'll notice that once you're able to actually come out here on the court and put that visualization to actual practice, there's a link that happens where what you see in your mind is easier to actually translate to actual practice out here. And the more you repeat that process of visualizing and then practicing, the more efficient that practice will then become. And you'll see that what you're trying to accomplish in your mind becomes easier to accomplish on the court. So thank you guys for watching. Stay healthy, stay safe. If you guys like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Also hit that notification button so you're notified of my future videos when they go live. And again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next week.
Visualize what you can't see.